Hi guys, this is Lalana. Thanks for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today we're going to talk about when am I getting my twin flame back? You know, you see this everywhere. It's the theme when it really comes to this path, this dynamic. When is the Divine Masculine coming back in? You know, I'm doing the work. How long does this take? You know, all the questions that sort of come up around that. When are they going to be back? Are they going to come back? Is this real? Blah, da, 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 da. So the main thing, just to jump into this really quick, is that the twin flame path, and when you're on this path as a divine feminine, generally we have this idea that as long as I'm doing the work, as long as I'm doing the shadow work, as long as I'm doing the healing, as long as I'm doing the balancing, you know, as long as I'm doing all of these things, then at some point that means that I'm going to be in romantic physical union, right, with my divine masculine, with my twin flame. Eventually they're just going to come back. So when does that happen, right? Come. What's the deal? When are you coming? So the thing about this is, and the thing about having this sort of thought is what I have talked about in the past when it comes to having expectations, having attachments to outcomes, you know, making intentions and then like assuming that since I've made this intention, I just have to like go with the flow and stay in divine time, you know, and everything's going to work itself out, or, you know, let go and let God, and all of these sort of, you know, sayings that we have, right, which are really just basically appeasing the ego, appeasing the mind, sort of settling the energy down for a little while, because we're sort of like, let me just put it in the hands, right, of divine timing, right? Let me put it in the hands outside of me, and just trust that everything is going to work itself out, right? Everything, eventually, if I do all of these things and I just trust, then my divine masculine is going to come back and we're going to be in union. And at the same time, we have the belief that's saying, but when, right? I've been trusting, I've been going with the flow, I've let go, I've done all these things, so when is this going to happen? So the attachment to that outcome is what first and foremost makes that not happen. But above and beyond that, it's the idea that, as I've said before, and I'll continue to say, that this is the purpose of this path, is that, you know, when are they going to come back? And I'm doing all of these things in order to get them back. The real question on this path needs to be, when are you getting yourself back? When are you coming back? Right? And I understand that on some level that sounds kind of crazy, but that's exactly what this is. When are you coming back home to you? When are you dropping, you know, the label? I'm going to do another video on that. Dropping the labels, dropping the definitions, dropping the attachment, dropping the outcomes, dropping the expectations, and dropping the idea that your twin flame is outside of you, separate from you, and that as soon as I do all of these things, then they come back, and then everything's going to be butterflies and rainbows, right? It's still working from that external reality, right? It's still saying that this is beyond my power. It's still coming from a place that's saying, as long as I do this, and this, external things, as long as I do this stuff, then I'm going to get rewarded by having, you know, this romantic relationship show up in my external reality again. And so this is still pushing all of this energy, all of your energy out onto other things, other people, other ideas, other belief systems, other identifications, other labels, all of these things. This, again, the thing with this path is that it is purely an inside job. It is 100% an inside job. And we're not used to that, you know? Like, we don't really know what that is, what that looks like, what that means. I get that, I do. And until you're on this path for quite some time, it's still sort of like, well, I think that I'm doing the work, right? I don't want to get too tied up into the work. As I've said in my other videos, are you still doing the shadow work? And I don't know, one of the other ones about healing is that this constant sort of, I'm putting it out there that I'm damaged and I'm broken and I need to do the inner work and the shadow work and the inner child healing in order to heal myself, because I'm so damaged and so broken, in order to have my divine masculine come into my life. So I need to heal in order for that to happen. No, it doesn't work like that. That in itself is a belief system. It's a giant belief system, and so many people are just sort of running with that belief system. You know, this is a dance of energies. This is coming back into union with your same energy. It's coming back into the embodiment that this is my energy that I continue to push outward into external situations and external people, including my twin and including just my entire like environment. And then I want something from that, right? And so we're always throwing our energy out, and we have a hard time understanding what it means to come back to self, right? To be in relationship with self, to be in union with self. Because all of these other things that we're doing, they're not about being in union with self. They're about looking for outcomes. That they're about, I'm doing something in order to be rewarded with something else. And they're still focused on, when is the twin coming back? When are they coming back? Right? Which means we're still moving from lack. We're still moving from fear. We're still moving from that place of, I need to do all of these things in order to get all of these things, which is coming from a third dimensional, dualistic, separation, lack frequency construct. And the awakening process, which is what your twin elicited, is breaking you out of that construct. It's breaking you out of that belief system, out of all of those programs, and is asking you, come back home to self. Come back home to self. And the other thing is that, you know, we really need to, I'm going to do a video on this as well. We really have to, I've been, you know, trying to drive this home, is we need to let go of the idea that this is just going to end up in romantic union. It's not like that for everybody. That's not the purpose, first and foremost, which I continue to say. The purpose is awakening. The purpose is your ascension. The purpose is releasing you from the 3D constructs of what relationship is supposed to look like, based on programs and belief systems and patterns that we have taken on in a dualistic reality, right? And so we're taking this, the fifth dimensional frequency, right? We're taking this high vibrational frequency, which is what awakening and ascension shifts you into. We're taking this frequency and we're trying to mold it backwards, basically, into a traditional, normal, regular, third dimensional romantic template. I talked about this in my 3D relationship versus 5D union video. This is a square peg in a round hole. They don't fit. They don't fit. And yet we're trying to make them fit. And so we're feeling like, okay, I'm doing all the work and I'm doing all the stuff and I'm, you know, whatever that might be, because I'm waiting for my divine masculine to come back into my life for me to have this particular specific type of romantic relationship that I have had before, just at a more elevated state, right? That's sort of the idea, right? It's like the elevated state of soulmate relationship. It's going to be like a soulmate relationship, but better. But still, We're putting it in the box of the construct that we've been running all of our lives of, this is what romantic relationships look like. Twin flames, true twin flames, are breaking out of the patterns and the programs and the dynamics of what traditional third dimensional relationships look like. We are birthing sacred union. We are birthing divine union, right? Divine union does not look like the third dimensional relationship template. It doesn't look like that, doesn't breathe like that, doesn't talk like that, doesn't act like that, because that is coming from a vibration that twin flames are here to shift out of. We're here to rise back into our soul, our consciousness, our true nature, you know, our oneness, which naturally, organically rests at a higher vibratory frequency. It's not good or bad, it's not wrong or right, I keep saying that. It's just the soul's evolution. And that soul's evolution is, as it's shifting out of the 3D and out of duality, right? Out of separation and lack and fear programming, and shifting back into union, harmony, oneness, love, the higher vibratory frequencies that we normally exist at. This is where the new romantic templates and just relationship templates, as I've said in the past, are being birthed. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about New Earth, when we're talking about the 3D, 5D split, when we're talking about coming back into Gaia, right? This is part of why twin flames are here. It's just simple, just basics. It's not like, you know, woo-woo land or, you know, la-la, new age, anything. It's you are awakening, period. You are awakening out of the third dimensional programming and the illusion that we have been experiencing here. You know, we sort of come into this and we think that it's so fantastical and it's so whatever, and you know, and we sort of like run with that. The ego sort of runs with that idea. But this is just evolution. That's what this is. That's what this path is. It's evolution of the soul, of shifting and graduating to higher vibratory frequencies. That's what we do. Our consciousness rises after the soul has had certain experiences. Our consciousness goes back to what it was, and then we'll have other experiences in other 5th, 6th, 7th dimensional planes, you know, 4th dimensional planes for some. We will have other experiences. That's what this twin flame path is doing, right? It's shifting you and preparing you to be ready and able to hold those higher vibratory frequencies that birth relationship that is living and breathing and speaking and all of those things at a higher octave, right? So when we're always talking about, well, when is my twin flame coming back? You know, and I've been doing the work and I don't see them anywhere, and you know, blah, 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 blah. We're still moving from that lower vibratory frequency. We are still moving from separation when we're looking for them everywhere. And we're wondering like, well, I did all the stuff. That's still moving from separation. It's not moving from self. It's not union with self. It's not oneness. It's not being harmonious and back in inner union. It's not the embodiment and the understanding and the realization that I am God's source creation. All that is here having an experience in form. And I am awakening out of that experience, and I'm going to have other experiences that are based on more harmonious union frequencies and vibrations. Does that make sense? If you haven't seen my 3D relationship versus 5D union video, if this one doesn't make sense, I would encourage you to watch that so you understand a little bit more about what I'm saying, because I explain it better in that video. But so the point here is that when we're always, again, wondering where are they, we're moving from the exact same energy that they are here to break us out of. This is the paradox of this path. It is the paradox of this path. And when we're feeling like, you know, and I see things a lot, and it's just, you know, I have a lot of, you know, comments that I have on my other social media channels, like I've mentioned in the past, of just people being in a lot of pain, or people feeling like just really confused about what this path is, and all of these sort of things. And the hype around this that just really just pushes it so hard, that this is romantic. This is romantic. This is romantic. And if you do this, 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 and this, then it's going to end up in romance and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I keep saying over and over again, it's not that it can't, but that's not the point. And so if you're constantly feeling like that's what I want and that's what it's going to be, and if I'm going to do all of these, then you're literally just staying in loops. You're just staying going round and round and round in the same program, right? It still is the same program, because this path is saying, I need you to come back into relationship with self. I need you to fall in love with self. I need you to remember that you are love. I need you to remember that nothing is external to you. I need you to remember that everything that you are holding in within you is a reflection of what you're seeing in your external reality. I need you to remember that you are a creator of everything that you are experiencing. I need you to come home to self. I need you to stop looking outside of yourself for the twin, and if the twin comes, how it's supposed to look based on an old program that you used to run. That's what the soul is saying, right? That's what this purpose of this path is. And the thing is that our ego likes to define it, and it likes to label it. And then we have all this information that is also labeling it and defining it in very clear and concise ways that are still based on old third dimensional programs that are based in separation and in lack, right? When we're moving from that place and we're thinking like, well, as soon as I do this, then this, then this, then this, and A, B, C, D, and E, F, G, and blah, blah, blah. It's like that. That's exactly what we're here. That's what awakening shifts us out of. We're everything and we are no thing. We are pure source consciousness. And this path is pushing you into that remembrance. It's not something you have to attain. It's what you are. This path is shedding away what you're not, right? And what you're not is those programs that are saying, why has my divine masculine not showed up yet? Why are we not in romantic relationship yet? Why have I done all of these things and I still haven't seen them yet? On and on and on. Because you don't love self. This is a self path. You know, when am I showing up for myself? That's what this path is about. It's not when is my divine masculine showing up and where are they? It's when am I showing up and where am I? And it will always be that. It will always be that. And I know some of the messages that I bring through may feel like a little direct or a little too forward, right? And I understand that, I do. And looking back, I wish that there would have been more, teachers or guides when I first began on this path that were just like, this is what it is. Like, let go of all of the stuff that keeps you going round and round in circles. Because I suffered on this path for years. Like, I get it. I totally get it. And so when I started working with twins, that was one of my main things. I want to demystify this path, right? My intention is to help everyone understand that this is your spiritual awakening, and to help you guys to break out of the things that are keeping you in that suffering mode. Awakening is shifting you out of that suffering mode. And the more we're identifying with and labeling and having attachments to what this is supposed to be and how it's supposed to look based on what we've already experienced, then we are missing the boat, right? Then we are missing the point. And this is why I bring forth over and over again. You can be with your twin flame in and out of separation for however long, and it doesn't mean that you're in union, right? You can be in romantic relationship with your twin and it be working well, and it doesn't mean that you're in inner union. We need to stop looking at like okay, well, this is, let me check this off, and so that means that I've passed this thing. And let me check this off, and so that means that I've done this thing, and so then this other thing is about to come on. And so then mind, 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 mind. Always trying to understand and figure out, well, as soon as this, then that. It's very, very intellectual and very logical. And for the divine feminines who are having a hard time not getting out of their mind, which most of them that's the case, and having a difficult time of relaxing back into that feminine energy, this is one of the reasons why. Is because you're wanting to constantly understand it and to figure it out. And, I could make all sorts of graphs and write everything down and like break it all down and show you guys all sort of things. And that's interesting. It is interesting. But does it help you? Does it help you to actually be like, okay, well, this is how it works, and these are all the nuts and bolts, and this is why you're here, and this is the mind loves that. The mind likes it, for sure. But how is it helping you on your path? Right? And so you're okay, I understand it, I get it now, and so then, okay, and then what? It's still working from the mental construct. And so it's still working from a wounded masculine energy for most divine feminines who are wanting to understand. And so it's still working from a place of doing instead of being, instead of receiving, instead of being intuitive, instead of being in the flow, instead of relaxing, instead of coming into your true sovereignty of your feminine energy, which is what this path is asking, right? And at the same time, as I said at the beginning of the video, when we're talking about having like blind trust and blind faith and divine timing, and it's going to happen when it's meant to, and all of these sort of things, we're also in that place of saying like, I'm powerless, right? I'm the feminine, so I'm just going to sit back and relax. That's not what I mean. It's not what I mean. What I mean is that you're coming into a point where your love for yourself is so entrenched and embodied that it's overwhelming. When your love for self is basically just your being, and I don't mean like I'm just trying to be. No, I mean your being. This is your embodiment. Love becomes your embodiment. Not romantic love, not platonic love. The love that is the existence of everything becomes your embodiment. It becomes your being. It becomes who you are. This is what inner union is. It's what coming back into union with self is. And this is why I keep saying, this is a you and you path. This is a you job. This is an inner job, right? It doesn't mean inner work. It means this is a path about coming back home to you. Coming back home to, I am God, source, creation, all that is. I am pure source consciousness. I am oneness. I am connected to everything, which means I love everything, which means everything is a reflection of me, which means I am everything and everything is me, which means I am not separate from everything, right? Or anything. This is what awakening does. And when you're in that place, if you continue to go with the flow on this path and stop trying to figure everything out and think it's all working on when are they going to show up, and I've done this and that and the other, and you come out of that mind construct, and you come into allowance, and you come back into that love of self, this is just going to happen. As I've said on a lot of my videos, if you are awakening and ascending, a lot of this is going to just simply be an organic process because you are energetically shifting. This isn't something you can control with your mind. Awakening has nothing to do with the mind. Ascension has zero to do with the mind. These videos are just helping people to walk the path so they're not just like feeling like they're just, spinning off in some sort of whirlwind land, and they don't have any sort of touchstones of other people who are having these same experiences or who have been through these same experiences. Right? So that inner union, that love for self, is the purpose. And that love for self, as I've said in other videos, once it's within you, once it's your embodiment, once you remember this is who I am, it's going to reflect back to you in every single aspect of your life. Why? Because it's you again. As within, so without. And so this isn't about when am I going to be in romantic partnership with my divine masculine. When am I going to be in romantic, loving, platonic, oneness, union, partnership with myself? That's what this path is. That's what awakening is. It's coming back into that awareness of, I'm it. I'm all of it. I'm all of it and I'm none of it, and I'm everything, and I'm creation, and I'm consciousness. And I don't feel the need to be saying, when is my divine masculine going to show up? Because I feel so whole and so complete and so sovereign that I know that everything outside of me is just going to reflect that back to me. So the more joy I have, the more love I have, the more awareness I have, the more my consciousness comes online, the more that's going to reflect back to me. And it's not about having those 3D constructs of romantic partnership that you have had in the past. It's about creating a whole different type of frequency of partnership. And true twin flames who are on this path, who are in those types of partnerships, know exactly what I'm talking about. We're moving into a different frequency. And in order to allow yourself to do that, you have to drop these other labels of, when is my divine masculine going to show up, and I've been doing all of this work, and when is this going to happen for me, and I did X, Y, and Z, and they never came back. If you're in true union with self, you're not going to care. The twin is you. I don't know how many times I can say that. And until you come into that inner union, you're not going to really feel that in a way that you understand that I love myself so much. I love my twin so much. He is me, I am him. We are one, we are the same. We want the best for each other always, no matter what that is, because we are constantly embodying love. Love is just existence. It's existence. It's like euphoria. It's bliss. It's everything. This path is pushing you in there, in that direction. This path is pushing you to, oh my God, I have never felt better in my entire life. And it has nothing to do with anything outside of me, and everything to do with coming back home to me. So the next time you ask, or you think, or you wonder, is my twin flame coming back? When is my divine male? When is this going to happen? That's what you need to ask yourself. Have I come back home to me? Right? Am I in partnership with me? Am I in love with me? Because that's what this path is, and that's how this path works. And that's why I keep saying you need to be flowing with the awakening. This is awakening. This is ascension. Always looking over your shoulder in the other direction is slowing this process down, right? This process will get you to a place where you feel better than you have ever felt in your entire life. You get to that place and it just, like I said before, like it's hard to, you can't put that into words. It's just, it's a feeling, it's a knowing, right? It's an awareness. But if we keep looking in the other direction, it takes a lot longer to get here. And we experience a lot more suffering because we have so many attachments and so many expectations and so many things that we are being like sort of told and sold, and we're believing in them, and they're becoming other belief systems. This is you and you. Love you. This is what this path is. The more in love you are with yourself, the more everything in your reality will reflect that back to you over and over and over and over again. And you'll come into that awareness that this was never just about my twin. My twin is me. This was about me, right? This is about self. This is about coming home to self. This is about where am I? When am I coming home to me? I don't like to use me because me is egoic. When am I coming home to self? This path, if you stay on it and you continue to do the awakening and you continue to ascend and you don't fight it and you flow with it and you allow it, right? And you trust your higher self, who is you and who is guiding you, will lead you to the promised land. This is an amazing path. Embrace this path. This path. You. This is you. So that's what I have for you guys today. Sorry for the dogs barking. Hope you guys have an awesome day.